Downtown Miami, winds are blowing, but you know what? It's Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And rainy at Marlins Park. Umbrellas out, roof is closed, but come on inside. Oh yeah, Mother's Day. A lot of pink, a lot of celebration, a lot of money being raised for breast cancer research today as Major League Baseball salutes Mother's Day. Hi everybody, Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth, and certainly for us, happy Mother's Day. You know, on Mother's Day, when you get mom a gift, she doesn't care what you get her, right? It's the thought that counts. But you know what? That's BS. Because if you're a mom and you follow the Marlins, you want to win, don't you?
Well, winning makes it all that much better. I was thinking back to the pregame show, Justin Bohr's mom. we all had a mom who wanted to see us win. And in fact, yeah, winning a game today would probably make all the moms, all the Marlins players' moms, a lot happier.
Yeah, no kidding about that. Let's talk about Justin Bohr. One of the things that's gone right for the Fish over this last week is the big left-handed bat has really come to life.
A lot of fun watching this swing right now, and think back to some of his struggles earlier in the season, and I don't want to say that his pacing was different, but it definitely, you just see the confidence in his eyes when he gets into the box. You see him take pitches. You can clearly tell that he's up there to execute a game plan, that he's looking for something specific, and when he gets it, as I've said many times this year, the key to hitting, good hitting, is not missing your pitch, and right now, he is not missing his pitch.
There's frustration on all fronts right now for Miami. They have, however, been able to get some decent starting pitching over the last few starts. This was to be a weigh-in Chen start. Chen's arm not ready yet, so Justin Nicolino is up from New Orleans, and he takes the ball on this Sunday.
Yeah, fastball, curve, slider, change. He's a mixed bag, and he's going to have to be that again today. There's some hot hitters in this Braves lineup, but he's a lefty. Remember, a lot of the damage the Braves have been able to do, even in this series, have come off the bat of the lefties, so hopefully Nicolino can be outstanding today.
R.A. Dickey trying to turn back the clock at 42, still throwing the knuckleball.
Amazing story, R.A. Dickey. You see the numbers there, 4.29. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. See it high, let it fly. See it low, let it go. R.A. Dickey throws a ton of knuckleballs, and you're going to have, well, a knuckleballer today. So guys are going to have to get it done.
Looking for answers. Don Mattingly trying to stop this slide as the Fish and the Braves on Mother's Day go at it. Next.
have those kind of, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to have tough times, but you just can't ever give in to, oh, the season's over. You know, I think we have to, as a ball club, just have to continue to fight. And you observe a lot, honestly. You pay attention to the guys that you can tell that it bothers them, and you can tell the guys that are giving in. You know, are we going to come out and fight and play hard every day, or are we just going to give in and think the season's not going to be a good one? And for me, just sitting back and thinking the season's not being a good one is just not even close to, you know, anyway, I'm going to think. Obviously, the way we're playing, everyone, you feel a little frustrated. But at some point, you just, you know, how much you're going to take. Really, as a team, you just, how much are we going to take?
And today, Don Mattingly is looking for that point. At what point? It's the Marlins and the Braves. We start things out in center field. Craig Minervini, Preston Wilson, guys.
All right, thank you, Rich, and happy Mother's Day again, everybody. Baseball is about pitching, hitting, and defense. For the Marlins to right the ship, they're going to have to improve. Let's hit category by category. Pitching.
Well, pitching, starting pitching is doing better. They got to go deeper in the games. You know, I think the relievers now, they're starting to settle in a little bit. They're starting to get their feet under them. The roles are being defined. So I think that's going to be fine.
Been better lately. As
Yes.
you look at the numbers over this very tough stretch of 17 games. The overall ERA is high, but then again, yeah, the Conley start, a couple of those starts can skew those numbers. What about hitting?
Hitting, you got to be able to continue to tack on runs. Sometimes the offense gets a little stagnant. They got to put hits together. Can't really rely on the home run too much, which is great that they're hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but got to build innings.
Now, fielding, you saw in that stat, 26th lately, last 17. Before that, they were number 1. They've got to be crisper defensively.
That, to me, is the biggest shock of what's going on now, that the Marlins are kicking the ball around and not fielding the ball well. This is something that's been a calling card of the Marlins. That's Perry Hill. That's what he does, and right now, they're not doing it.
All right, can you win with 2 out of those 3, pitching, hitting, defense?
Yes, 2 out of 3 you can win with.
Well, that's I think it would be a starting point for the Marlins. We'll see. But it's Mother's Day. We're happy to be here, and the players will be happy to be swinging those pink bats today. We're all happy. Louisville Slugger, those great bats. We'll be back with a Mother's Day ball game coming up. Braves Marlins next.
West, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance events. By the Florida Department of Transportation, drive sober or get pulled over. And by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. Pink is in today, that's for sure. On Mother's Day, Major League Baseball. And if you want to join along in the charitable arm of this Mother's Day, MLB.com/auction. You can get the jerseys and the caps right off the players themselves. All right, here's Atlanta's lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Ender Inciarte, Adonis Garcia, Freddie Freeman, and Matt Kemp. Nick Markakis has always had success in his run with the Braves against Miami, and that's continued in the series. A start for Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Switch hitting Danny Santana is at second. Dansby Swanson is out at short, and R.A. Dickey hits ninth. Justin Nicolino, 25-year-old out of Orlando.
Now you see the numbers. These are his AAA numbers from New Orleans. 4.46 ERA, 38 1/3 innings. One thing that does stand out, that whip a little high and the home runs high as well. So he's got to mix his pitches. And again, that's kind of been the MO of the starting rotation over the last week or so. Seen some improvements. Guys coming out and really establishing all of their pitches early. Look for Nicolino to do the same.
Here is Inciarte. And home plate umpire Marvin Hudson is even in on the pink Mother's Day spirit. And he calls strike one with Jerry Lane, Toby Basner, Dan Bellino on the bases. Nicolino misses in a ball and a strike.
From Nicolino, you're going to see the fastball, cutter, curveball, and change today. Used that fastball about half the time. You saw a little two-seam action right there. Gonna work the ball around the strike zone.
Slowly hit. Riddle has to hurry, and he does, and gets him. JT Riddle getting the start at short and makes a nice play.
I'll tell you what, JT Riddle, the more I see, the more I like. My goodness gracious, he's been making some of the most athletic plays, at least over the last couple of nights. You see that right there, able to come in, surround it, even get those shoulders slightly squared to first base to be able to get that quick exchange and the throw off. Nice stretch by Bohr over there at first base to get the first out.
Adonis Garcia now for the Braves. Now, when this series started, the Marlins and the Braves both desperately needed wins. The Braves had lost 6 in a row. The Marlins had dropped 8 of 10 in 3 straight. And it was the Braves 8-4 on Friday. And then last night 3-1. And so there's a lot of pressure relieved from the Braves clubhouse. And it's almost as if you put it on a big wheelbarrow and took it over and dumped it into the Marlins clubhouse. That pressure continues to build for the Marlins.
Well, desperately needs a win, still is there. You mentioned it for both teams at the start of this series. Well, only one team so far has been able to come up with wins, so that pressure valve has not been released yet. This Marlins team continues to plug away and find that elusive win.
Pitches in to Garcia. Now, of course, Nicolino, originally a Toronto Blue Jay, second-round pick 2010, came to the Marlins in that big trade between the 2012-2013 season. University High School up in Orlando, and he stumbles a bit in delivering that pitch. Garcia is aboard. Miami defensively in this ball game.
Here is your Miami Marlins defense. Marcell Ozuna in left field, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. Around the infield, Dietrich Riddle, Gordon Bohr. A.J. Ellis gets the start behind the plate today, working with Justin Nicolino.
Freddie Freeman now. Goes after that first pitch, a little pop. That's going to nestle into right center field for a hit. Up with it is Yelich. Freeman has his 4th hit of the series and his first hit that hasn't been a double. He had 3 doubles so far in the 2 games.
Well, no surprise watching him find grass in the outfield. You know, he uses that all-field approach. You see him get beat by the fastball, but again, even the aggressiveness early in the count. Just gets enough of it to drop it in no man's land, like the Bermuda Triangle out there. You see everybody converging. It's like a triangle that's shrinking, but the ball finds grass.
Matt Kemp now climbs into the box. Kemp, 3 hits in the series. An infield single last night, and it was that play that was the dribbler down the third baseline. Derek Dietrich threw away at first and resulted in run number 3 for the Braves. And the Braves in this ballpark, for whatever reason of late, have just dominated the Marlins, and obviously that's continued in this series.
For Matt Kemp, that slow roller turned into a 1 for 4, which extended his hitting streak to 13 games.
Fastball is up. Kemp, the veteran, the former Dodger, former Padre, when San Diego wanted to go big with payroll and stars, and quickly they changed course. Kemp available, and the Braves thought he'd be a nice piece. With the Padres and the Dodgers picking up a pretty good chunk of salary. Swing and a miss.
So far this afternoon, he looks like he's sitting what he believes are going to be breaking balls from Nicolino or off-speed pitches. Nicolino able to get his fastball by him twice here in the first inning.
Garcia at second, Freddie Freeman at first, Nicolino to Kemp. And he's in with the fastball. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch right there by Justin Nicolino. It serves a purpose. Sure, he would love to have picked up a strikeout or a weak contact there on the inside part of the plate, but for Nicolino to be successful today, he is going to have to work both corners. He cannot allow the right-handed hitters to start creeping out over the plate and just looking and sitting on pitches away.
The pitch is out. Nicolino, not a strikeout guy. 7 starts, 24 strikeouts in New Orleans, 16 walks. Nick Markakis is on deck. You don't have great speed with Garcia, the lead runner, nor Freeman, the trail runner. Full count, 1 out. Miami's infield looking for 2. And he's out. Nicolino misses. Kemp trots down to first, and now the bags are loaded. And here is Markakis.
Well, it's been a similar conversation we've had through some of this struggle. It's 3 for 13. Walks have been such a big issue for this ball club. Really, what it does. Talked about it from about every different angle, but you see here, the first inning, the Atlanta Braves able to load the bases with a bloop single and 2 walks, and now have their hottest hitter at the plate.
Well, Markakis, 5 for 8 in the series. Such a steady bat throughout his career. Little tapper. Nicolino comes home. Ellis down to first. And exactly what Justin Nicolino needed. 1, 2, 3 on the double play. Mother's Day in Miami. This ball game is underway and scoreless. Solve R.A. Dickey, and this is the lineup for the Fish. Gordon in the leadoff spot, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna. There's the change. Justin Boers moved up to the cleanup spot with Stanton behind him. Eric Dietrich, A.J. Ellis, J.T. Riddle, Justin Nicolino. Southwest brings you the lineup. You can see Stanton's numbers against Dickey. He's not the same R.A. Dickey when he was a Met. He really tormented the Marlins during those days.
Well, you know, it's such an interesting one. You know, everybody thinks of the period of time in their career. You call it the career year. Of course, in 2012, he ends up winning the Cy Young, and he was absolutely masterful. Ended up striking out 230 hitters in 230 innings. You say, well, what has changed? He's a knuckleballer. Well, you know, it's some control and command and predictability really is what it comes down to. And I've had a few conversations and have a couple dear friends who are knuckleballers.
Gordon bounces out to Freeman.
And they usually talk about it in that way. What your knuckleball essentially does. Is the wind blowing in? Is it blowing out? Well, let's scout him. Why not? Here you go, R.A. Dickey. Well, there's a lot of things that I think we're going to talk about today. These are the three I thought were the, well, honestly, most interesting about scouting R.A. Dickey. 1996 Olympian. He was a bronze medalist in Atlanta. Started 2 games, picked up a couple of wins, oh, by the way. Well, that same year, he ended up getting drafted by the Texas Rangers. Gets offered a high value signing bonus, $800,000, over $800,000. So he goes in to have his physical, and they find out that he's missing the UCL. Rich, it's not there. What's going on? You can't pitch without an UCL. Well, he says, yes, you can, and he's continued to pitch without one, so it hasn't been a big deal. But at the time, they made it a big deal. They slashed his signing bonus down to $75,000. So then, that was all in the same year. That's how his career started. I'll jump forward to 2012, and we'll piece together the story in between as this game goes on. But in 2012, as you mentioned, 20-6 with a 2.73 ERA with the Mets. Cy Young, 5 complete games, 3 shutouts, a whip of 1, and 230 strikeouts in 233 innings. He was absolutely Cy Young worthy and certainly deserved to win the award that year. He's a little different now, I completely agree, but he was masterful in 2012.
Yelich takes down low, and Dickey walks Christian Yelich. All right, defensively, here are the Braves on this Sunday afternoon.
We'll see what the Braves look like behind R.A. Dickey. Here is your Braves defense. Kemp, Inciarte, Markakis. It's been their outfield all series long. Garcia back over at third base. Ansby Swanson's had a couple big hits in this series. Santana gets to start at second. Freddie Freeman. Kurt Suzuki in as the catcher today, catching R.A. Dickey.
Marcell Ozuna now against Dickey. And Ozuna shoots one into center field, a base hit. Yelich turns second, holds there, and Inciarte has it. And Miami has runners first and second, and this sets up well for Justin Bour.
Well, this is one of the rare fastballs that he throws. Yes, he does throw a fastball, everybody. Doesn't throw it often, occasionally, about 13% of the time. But R.A. Dickey, when he does throw it, he throws it for strikes an awful lot and tried to sneak one in there early against Marcell Ozuna. Probably the wrong guy to do that to right now, as well as he's been hitting and seeing the baseball. Knocks it back up the middle for a base hit.
Well, Justin Bour now, who has homered in each of his last 3 games. He shares the Marlins record for homers in consecutive games at 4. He did that in 2015. There are 7 others, so there's a lot of Marlins on that list. And Dickey misses in. And Don Mattingly, with Bour now in the cleanup spot, wanted to give him a little protection. He felt last night the Braves did not pitch to him. They walked him twice. He homered in the 7th, and then he bounced out. He had 3 hits on Friday night, so he's had a real nice series. And busted bat out towards second. Phillips, Swanson will hold it. Bour will beat the play down to first, and the Braves have to settle for an out at second, and it will be Stanton now with 2 outs.
Well, All right, Dickey able to get in there and break the bat. Just the boy, this is not hit very hard, so it slows the play down naturally. You see Santana get a good throw. Decides to go to the backhand toss right here. Quick but long. Swanson has to wait for it. Decides to eat the throw to first base. Marlins are still in scoring position.
So here's Giancarlo. Couple hits in this series. 20 at bats against Dickey. And he's 6 for 20 with 8 strikeouts. Those are the individual numbers. Hasn't homered against him. In fact, the only Marlin with a home run against Dickey is Tyler Moore, who starts the game on the bench. Stanton pops that one back and out of play.
You see it right there. It does have some circular rotation on its way up there. All right, Dickey trying to get it in there as stealth as possible. What I mean by that is little movement, as little rotation as you can come up with on the ball.
Look like a garden variety breaking ball. Dickey still has a full arsenal that he'll use. Now the toughest job certainly is not Dickey's, nor is it Stanton's. It's that man, Kurt Suzuki, who is using a hybrid glove, part catcher, part first baseman. You remember, I believe it was Josh Tolley at the time, was a guy that caught Dickey an awful lot. And anybody who has caught a knuckleballer, essentially, whether it's Mirabelli for Wakefield, goes with something like this. Big pocket, not much padding. That strike 3 call, Stan didn't like it. He and Marvin Hudson at home plate in a contentious ending. Let's take a look. Well, there's the overhead look. And the Marlins come up empty near the first. And that's what it feels like for everybody in uniform right now. The way the Marlins are going. 13-22. They are 9 under. On Mattingly earlier talking about, and hope you had a chance on Marlins Live to see it, or even at the outset of our show, just the frustrations and what goes on in a clubhouse. There's only so much a manager can do And I guess the biggest frustration for the Marlins is there have been games where they've done things well. They've hit home runs. They've had a couple of losses where they hit 3 homers in a game. They've had 3 4-run leads that they've lost in this stretch of games as well. Stanton ventures back and hauls in the fly ball off the bat of Kurt Suzuki.
Well, for your manager and the coaching staff, so much of the conversation has to be about motivation and honing in on the positives that you extract from every day. Because there are always positives, and again, they may be isolated or individualized. But the reality is that there are good things that are going on with this team, and as coaches and as a staff, you have to really make sure that you pick up your guys in those areas. Justin Bour's swinging the bat particularly well right now. You say, well, make sure that everybody picks him up, because what ends up happening when you walk into the clubhouse after the ball game is you take a deep breath and you go, well, that's another tough loss. And the first reaction is we all need to feel this tough loss, and we all should be feeling this tough loss because we're not playing our best baseball. And all of a sudden the conversation will just spiral out of control, and it becomes circular. And what I mean by that is you come back to work the next day and you feel what you left here when you went home the night before. And remember, last night was a tough loss, right? 3-1 ball game, but it was only a handful of hours ago that they were losing a baseball game. Today, you have to wipe that out of your mind and say, what are we going to do today to win this game? And we need to forget everything that happened last night.
Well, for the Fish, they were a second-place team about 2 weeks ago. They've dropped 10 of their last 12. Danny Santana at the plate for the Braves, and Nicolino got a little cut fastball that came back, caught the outside corner. Now Santana with a few words for Marvin Hudson.
Well, this is the cutter. Watch how it works its way back to the corner. See, Danny Santana, he gives up on that pitch right there. He says, it's outside the strike zone. I don't have to deal with this. It's a ball. Oh, look, it's going to work its way back and catch just enough of that corner.
That pitch looked like it was out as well.
It was, but it had that little cutting action, and sometimes you'll get that, and an umpire will anticipate where that ball's coming back to.
Breaking ball on a strike to Dansby Swanson. Swanson, a guy that's struggled coming into this series. His average, you can see where it sits right now, but it's actually better than it was 2 weeks ago. And Swanson out to left field, caught there by Ozuna. That's a 9-pitch inning from Justin Nicolino. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. knuckleballs is whatever generation, they're hard to hit. Here's a look.
They really are. Well, you see, we talk about this again in this day and age. We love talking about spin rate and velocity and high velocity, but you see right there, R.A. Dickey's trying to take all of the spin off of the baseball, and that's really what it comes down to. And I also think this, for kids at home, this is a fun one. You hear the word knuckleball, right? So we're all thinking, well, R.A. Dickey throws a knuckleball. Like, how does he grip a knuckleball?
Bouncer up the middle. Swanson, it was deflected, and Dietrich is thrown out.
Well, just hearing the word alone, and if you were to look it up, you'd say, well, show me what a knuckleball looks like, and you'd think that you grab it with your knuckles, right? It's called a knuckleball, but that's not the case at all. And a dear friend of mine, he actually is one of the broadcasters for the Arizona Diamondbacks, Tom Candiotti. I used to sit with Candiotti when we were together in the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he was always working around. He said the most important part about my body, like pitchers staying in shape, were his fingernails. He had to make sure that they stayed strong and that they stay hard, and then he had to put some of the, I don't know what it was, like almost even a type of nail polish on his fingers to keep them strong, because what he's doing is taking these two fingers and really just digging it into the leather of the baseball, and then everything else is going for a ride. And you're trying to throw this ball, and actually you push with your fingers as the ball comes out, and that's what takes the spin off of it.
Now, pitchers for other pitches use seams, whether it's to grip and throw a breaking ball. That one is back to the mound. A slider, you hear 4-seam, 2-seam fastball. Does a knuckleballer use seams?
Well, he can cross it over, and again, you can steer this depending on how you kind of manipulate your hand angle. I don't believe it's the arm angle, and Candy and I never really had that conversation, but he did tell me depending on where he put his hand in delivery is what the ball would do. So if he got around it a little bit and pushed, this ball would kind of stay up a little bit longer. So we talk about drop as the ball's coming into the zone, and we say, well, I don't know where it's going. Well, in fact, they do. They have an idea of where they're throwing. They are throwing to a target, and they're trying to put the ball in a very specific spot, inside, outside, and they also know at times, and again, depending on the circumstances, inside today with the roof closed, there's not a lot of wind.
Riddle pulls it. Freeman to the bag. That's a 7-pitch inning from R.A. Dickey.
I want to say Happy Mother's Day, Mom, Tracy Bohr, Shirley Loveland, my grandma, and Jonah Bohr, my sister, and then Elise Bohr, my sister-in-law. Happy Mother's Day to you guys.
Very nice. Justin Bohr sporting the pink, got the sleeve going. Some sweet shoes as well. R.A. Dickey takes a strike. With more on that, here's Craig Minervini.
Rich, Adidas has their Adizo Afterburner, a special Mother's Day cleat for their about 150 major league players, including the Marlins' Justin Bour. They really are neat because the specific accents, for example, on the tongue, you can have mom or even a personalized message. And next to the laces on the side is the name of every mom of a major league player that wears Adidas. So Justin's mom, I think it's Tracy's somewhere on there. Do you see names? I looked at it closely. Diane, and there you see the names there right underneath that. Those are names of moms of all of the players in the major leagues who use the Adidas cleat. Now it also has what they're saying is the dipped soft light pink polka dot accents, guys, which evokes the strength and tenacity that characterizes moms everywhere. So that's pretty cool.
Huh. Can you say that again, Craig? What is that?
Yes, it's dipped in a soft light pink polka dot accent, Rich, which characterizes the strength and tenacity of mothers. Sounds like an Adidas PR guy.
That sounds like you're picking out sheets at Macy's or something.
I got the last part of that really well. That was good. I mean, I got how this all ties back into mom. It certainly made sense.
All right, Ender Inciarte lines a single to left. That's the second hit for the Braves, and this is the second time through against Justin Nicolino. Both pitchers have been pretty economical here to start this Mother's Day. Adonis Garcia's up, and Inciarte takes his lead from first. He's swiped 7 bags. Either team has really used the running game a whole lot in this series. Garcia, Cuban third baseman, peeks down at third base.
We'll see if things change today. I think that's due part healthy respect for both catchers that started in this series. JT Realmuto and Tyler Flowers, both very good defensive catchers. AJ Ellis as well, very good defensive catcher.
By the way,
Kurt Suzuki didn't start today.
The guy that he was looking down towards is Ron Washington, who's with Atlanta this year. Ron Washington is a terrific baseball man, was a very good manager, took the Rangers to a couple of World Series. And we have probably the 2 best infield coaches in the game within about 60 feet of each other right now. Washington, who did a lot of his work and most of his work in the American League, and Perry Hill, who's been almost exclusively a National League guy.
Well, for Ron Washington, got to meet him first time through with the Atlanta Braves. Very, very nice gentleman, and certainly his his resume. Everybody speaks volumes about the work that he has done. I never had the privilege of working or playing with Ron Washington, but everybody that I know raves about him. Perry Hill, I can speak for. One of the best, in my personal opinion, in the business.
Scoreless ball game here. 3rd inning in Miami. And Nicolino misses. That's 3 walks now from the lefty. Exactly what do you have from Nicolino today?
Well, you see it, fastball, slider, curve, and change. But that slider actually acts a little bit more like a cutter, and that's the variation there. And again, when you talk about Nicolino, it's getting to bad contact. I know he picked up a strikeout, actually 2 strikeouts the first time through the lineup, struck out Santana and Dickey, but again, doesn't typically pile up a large amount of strikeouts. Now, we're talking end of the bat, or jamming guys, or getting that bad contact, pop-ups, weak ground balls. Nicolino's on his game. That's exactly what you're looking for when he's on the mound.
Well, here's Freeman again. 4 hits already in the series. He singled in the first. And Nicolino gets a strike. I think that look on Freeman's face reflects his thoughts on that called strike.
There's been a few looks back in that direction of the home plate umpire as this game is really kind of getting going here in the 3rd inning. They're still trying to figure out what the strike zone might or might not be.
Freeman takes a rip. And it counts 0-2. There's your batting leaders. Freeman, as we told you yesterday, is the top, not at the top, but in the top 5 of most of the significant offensive numbers in the National League. Hooks that one down the first base line. Well, for the Marlins, it would be nice to get a win today because the Houston Astros are pulling in. Dan Straley gets the baseball tomorrow. Houston is only 25-11 right now with the best record in all of baseball. They've only won 5 straight in 8 of 10.
Well, and they're busy handling the New York Yankees right now in New York.
Good pitch. Nicolino strikes out Freddie Freeman. And so Justin now has got 3 strikeouts.
Yes, indeed it was. Sometimes the best part about pitch sequencing is saving your best for last. And you see here in this situation, he worked down, down, down in the zone. Even think that last foul ball that Freddie Freeman hit was down around his ankles, able to elevate the fastball at 91 miles an hour and get it by him, pick up the strikeout.
Matt Kemp now with runners first and second and 2 outs.
Kemp walked in the first.
And a strike. The hit streak at 13 games. And a guy who really provided some offensive punch when he arrived late last year. And the pitch is in. I think sometimes when a guy gets traded in the middle of the season, you lose track of what type of year he had. And I think some people who didn't quite follow the Braves or Kemp forget about that he ended up hitting 39 home runs last year and drove in 108 runs. Sends that one to center, late break, and Yelich is there to make the catch. Justin Nicolino, 3 scoreless innings with a little help from the center fielder. And Fish. Fan Fest, the Major League All-Star Game coming to Miami, July 7th through the 11th. Visit All-Star Fan Fest, allstargame.com. Get an interactive baseball theme park going on for those 4 days. Tickets and more. allstargame.com. Major League Baseball Fan Fest. You've got the Futures game on the Sunday. the celebrity softball game and the home run derby. Nicolino back to the mound. And Dickey has another ground ball out. He had 3 of those in the second inning. 2 more in the first.
Well, they've hit a few balls back to the mound. You just assume as a knuckleballer that you have to be pretty good at defending your position. Well, all right, Dickey is a Gold Glove winner. Won that Gold Glove in 2013.
Strike to Gordon. D. Gordon in a rut right now. He's 0 for 8 in this series. And this is a tough, if you think about it, for a guy like Gordon or a team like the Marlins who are trying so hard to bust out of this. This is not an easy guy to do it against, because aggression against this is exactly what Dickey is looking for. Now, you said he was an extraordinary story. AARP will let you know. Pitched at the University of Tennessee. A mountain climber, scaled Kilimanjaro. Published author as well. Advocate for a lot of great causes.
Poet, academic All-American. I mean, amazing.
He's one of those guys that has used his success in a very positive way. Yelich, so that's Suzuki. That's a strike, too. And even Yelich laughed at that.
Well, and so did R.A. Dickey. Did you see R.A. Dickey's hand popped out from his back pocket, and he said, that is a strike, right?
Watch this.
Right. That's the knuckleball that well, we'll call it the perfect knuckleball, if you will. That's what he's trying to throw essentially every time.
That's a great example of what umpires, and there was a shift about 6 or 7 years ago to get away from what the catcher did and just call the ball where it is.
Right.
Catcher reaches, catcher drops, it doesn't matter. That's a great example. Here's the 0-2. Into center field, that's a base hit. And so Yelich, who walked back in the first, is seeing the ball quite well.
Well, 2 strikes. Again, another knuckleball. What's so interesting, 73% of the pitches that R.A. Dickey throws when he gets ahead of 2 strikes, hitters go after. And I think it really does. It preys on the nervousness, the aggression, call it what you will, that a hitter feels, or maybe the right words, the anxiety that a pitcher feels when he's got 2 strikes on him. So he has to, a lot of times, make his best pitches then.
Ozuna rolls one in the hole. It's short into left. That's a hit. Yelich turns and heads towards third, and he's in there. Nicely done by Christian Yelich. Kemp was a long ways away with the power of Ozuna. Yelich spotted that and takes third base.
Well, you see the knuckleball right here early in the count, aggressive. Ozuna catches it off the end. He didn't rip this ball through the hole on the left side, but just enough to get it through. And I would almost bet that Swanson got a little something on it to slow it down. See Christian Yelich there. I don't think he was intending to go right away, but he realizes that he's got, Matt Kemp's got a long way to go. Yeah, you see he knocked that ball down and slowed it down, so Kemp had to really accelerate. Nice job by Yelich reading that ball. Good read, and then heads into third.
Bohr now with 2 outs and runners at the corners. Justin bounced into a fielder's choice back in the first. You can identify just watching the at-bats the guys that are seeing the ball well. Yelich, obviously, and Ozuna, who's got 2 hits.
You don't think too much up there with a knuckleballer. It's just see ball, hit ball.
Bohr, chopper, Freeman's there, and he steps on the bag. And the Marlins leave 2 in the third. Knuckleballs, that's on the menu here on Mother's Day. Charlie Huff
The one taking me to practice a lot, just always taking me to the batting cages or, out to Little League practice and whatnot, and just always kind of never made baseball seem like a burden to her in terms of getting me to practice, getting me to games and stuff. Just always encouraged it.
That certainly is one of the central themes in Mother's Day. Whenever we interview players or a manager, coach, it's how mom helped with the journey, whether it was the Little League or high school.
Word of selflessness, and as a mother, I don't know if there's a word that describes a mother better. I mean, really, it's the sacrificing of your life for your children, and it really comes down to whether, we talk about it in baseball terms, taking you to practice every day, being there for you after school, getting you ready before school, helping you with your homework, feeding you, raising you, teaching you, educating you. I mean, there's so many words that I think of describe my own mother, and certainly the sacrifices she makes, and my wife, Marcy, who does exactly the same thing.
Biggest pitch of the ball game was Nicolino to Nick Markakis with the bags loaded and 1 out in the first. Markakis didn't have a great swing, and he tapped it back to Nicolino, who started the 1-2-3 double play.
Yeah, might be the single biggest play in this ball game so far.
To shorts, JT Riddle on the first. Toyota brings you an inside look. We talked about it last night. Most hits since 2009, and Markakis, and the nuance here is that the guys that are in their 12th year with Markakis on that list are not on that page because they're below him.
It's amazing.
Ian Kinsler and Dustin Pedroia are behind Markakis in terms of number of hits since they walked into the big leagues.
Steady, productive. Made the point, and I think it's so interesting. Sometimes players fall into this category when they're, I don't necessarily call them silent leaders in the clubhouse, but maybe even their personality is a little bit quieter than others.
Suzuki, right center field. That's trouble. Off the track and off the wall, and the pride of Wailuku, Hawaii, Kurt Suzuki, doubles to right center.
It's his first double of the season.
He's not actually the only pride of Wailuku. That's Shane Victorino's hometown as well.
Yeah, that's fastball out over the plate. Watch the eyes. You saw it right there. Kurt Suzuki tracking it. What does that tell you? That's what he was thinking. The eyes don't lie, people. When you see him stay through that baseball right there, that is exactly what he was looking to do. Was looking for a fastball away and wanted to stay on it and drive it the other way.
There's Danny Santana with Dansby Swanson behind him. Well, you look up on the scoreboard, and it's a scoreless game, 3 hits apiece, but it doesn't necessarily illustrate what Nicolino's been up against. A couple walks and a hit in the first. He did have a 1-2-3 in the second. Another walk and another hit with 1 out in the third. And here, a 1-out double.
He's had some traffic that he's had to contend with. He's made pitches in those spots, the big outs. I go back to the first inning. Markakis, as hot as he has been, after seeing the walk to Kemp from a first pitch breaking ball that Markakis, in my mind, unexpectedly went after and tapped back to the mound. So able to get big outs, particularly on the ground, after getting some runners on base.
Little pickoff play. Suzuki's back in.
The other point I would make on Nicolino is that he walks into this start today somewhat of a fresh perspective. He hasn't felt what this Marlins club has been feeling over the last couple of weeks because he hasn't been here to feel it. Talked about the at times doing too much or thinking to try to do too much. pick up your teammates, find a way to win, dig deeper, try harder, do more. Nicolino walks into this start. He's just trying to be the best Justin Nicolino he can be. He's not playing off of the losing that's been going on around this Marlins club right now. So weaving his way through some of this traffic. Just another day in the park.
1-2. Got him. Some run on that fastball as well. That's 4 strikeouts for Nicolino. Marlins have a ballpark pass, and for just $199, you get 20 tickets. 20 tickets, and you can use those right now in May and in June, and they're all on your smartphone. Ballpark pass comes with 4 tickets to MLB All-Star Fan Fest in July.
Marlins are going to intentionally walk Swanson and bring R.A. Dickey to the plate. Base open right there.
I'm waiting for the first hitter to not even get to the plate before he gets the intention.
That's pretty close right there.
From the on-deck circle, the umpire just looks at him and says, "Hey, you go to first."
He actually, I'm not sure he even used the back foot to dig in right there. That was actually pretty close to it. Nicolino's done a nice job using his pitches, using his arsenal. Guys that he's gotten out, going back to those same spots. What I mean by that is Nicolino, like the last at bat against Santana, he picks up that second strikeout. If you remember back to the second inning, he picked up a strikeout on a 2-seam fastball away that caught Santana looking. That pitch against Santana right there, that exact same 2-seam fastball, he used it again to pick up the strikeout. Did the exact same thing with Markakis, breaking balls down in the zone.
0-1 to Dickey. 0-2. Let's go back to the previous foul ball. Nice. Hat. See?
Went in.
Got it. Gives it to the kid. She's like, that's not so hard, is it? That's pretty slick. Dickey a liner. Gordon has it on to first in time, and Nicolino navigates through some more traffic.
My mom kind of took me everywhere. Travel ball, take you places. Little League games, Pony League games, travel ball, all that stuff. So it didn't go unnoticed and definitely helped get to the point where I am today.
All right, it's Mother's Day, and we've heard certainly from players wearing Marlin uniform, but for our family here at Fox Sports and the men and women that work on Marlins baseball every day, it's Mother's Day, so we had a chance to maybe get into their iPhone and pull out some pictures of Mom.
There's some great photos in there, right? You get to see some of the moms, beautiful moms. Obviously, it's their day, and happy Mother's Day to my mother, and to my beautiful wife, Marcy, happy Mother's Day as well.
Stanton gets jammed on a knuckleball, pops it up, and Freddie Freeman makes the catch. Now with your mom, Little League, all of that stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, really, it's you know, listening to Christian Yelich, Justin Bour, it's exactly the same thing. I mean, I don't know if I maybe put it in the same types of terms, but exactly. I mean, transporting me, I mean, it's funny when you're a kid, and I see my sons doing this right now. It's in a lot of ways, I don't mean this in a negative way, but they get wrapped up in their worlds, which is baseball practice, baseball games, and everything else that goes on. And Mom is literally the vehicle, and I don't mean just the vehicle, but both figuratively, and she's got to drive you all over the place, but she's also the means to make everything happen as well. So yes, there's this incredible responsibility that your mother maintains as far as keeping the kids in the house happy, and my mother did the exact same thing. You know, I mean, how many times did you go from school to baseball practice to, you know, maybe that secondary sport that was crossing over, a football practice or a football game after it? Happened all the time, and there's Mom taking you all these places. She should call herself the taxi cab driver.
Preston's mom making an appearance there. Very nice. Well, yeah, look, from tailoring uniforms, I remember every year you get, if you're on a different team, you get a new uniform, and they rarely fit, right?
The knees, I would blow my knees out every year. Not literally blow my knees out, the knees of my pants, my baseball uniform, and Mom would have to fix them.
Did your mom work at the snack shack at Little League? Mine had to, you know, once every other Saturday.
There was some responsibility there.
There's my mom.
Beautiful.
There she is. Mom was a terrific softball player in high school, and knew a lot about sports. Still does. I'll get to see her when we are in San Francisco. There's Mark Butler and his mom, our award-winning audio master. Did Dietrich get hit by a knuckleball? He did. Well, wait a minute. Was it ball 4, or did that actually get him?
It's a knuckleball.
Well, let's see if it got him. Yeah, it got him. Any pitch hits him. Fastballs, sliders, knuckleballs. It's that magnetic personality that he has. Now he's tied with Parkland's Anthony Rizzo.
I mean, he's up there. I mean, everybody else on this list they're all starters. I mean, they play every day. Dietz doesn't play every day. He plays a lot, but you know what I mean. I mean, certainly get the opportunity now, but you all told me this in spring training. You know, watch this. He's just a ball magnet. It finds him. We're all lying.
So Dietrich is aboard. Here's Ellis now as he stares down Freddie Gonzalez's way. Freddie back at third base tonight after yesterday watching his son graduate from college. Scoreless ball game. The Braves have had more opportunities than the Marlins, but Miami's had multiple base runners in 2 innings.
See how tough it is to catch that ball, Suzuki. I mean, you almost feel that sense of handcuffing yourself.
You know, the interesting thing of watching Suzuki, and I probably need to go watch some tape to see if it's true about all guys that catch knuckleballers. Look at where he does not put a target up.
No. He's not supposed to. It's absolutely deliberate. The idea is behind that, you don't want to make an attempt to go at catching the ball. You almost, it's put in the terms of almost letting the ball catch you. You want to let that ball get there to the last second and then stick your glove up. See how he doesn't even stick his glove up? Pretty amazing.
Counts 2-1. Ellis takes outside.
All right, Dickey Pretty good at holding on base runners as well. He's picked off. We saw the number was what, 31 in his career? 5 since the start of 2016.
Ellis cranks a fastball, bangs it off the scoreboard in foul territory. Best team in baseball is here tomorrow night. That's the Houston Astros. 6:30 for Marlins Live. Jeff Conine is back with Craig Minervini. Interleague battle. Dan Straley gets the baseball for Miami. That's Joe Musgrove, a right-hander. But the Marlins are going to see Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers Jr., two of the best that the Astros have. Keuchel may be the best the American League has. He's 6-0 with a 1.69 ERA. He goes on Tuesday night. McCullers an ERA of under 3, and Jose Urena in a 12-10 game on Wednesday. That is going to be 11:30 breakfasts with Niner and Craig on Marlins Live.
Breakfast with the fish.
Yeah, breakfast with the fish. All right, now Inside Edge, the folks that bring us this. And you noted it earlier, when you get 2 strikes on R.A. Dickey, you're swinging.
Well, and again, part of it is
Ellis, Swanson, Santana's turn is in time.
I'll tell you next inning. Hang in there.
He swung.
He did.
Still scoreless. Brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. By Kaiser University, kaiseruniversity.edu. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. When this game started, you could hardly see outside. It was raining so hard.
Yeah. A little different out there now. Sun kind of coming through the clouds a little bit.
Is that face painting going on in the Clevelander? Put a happy face on there. It's Mother's Day.
Nicolino back to work, top of the lineup. Inciarte steps in. He's got a base hit today.
Up the middle. Riddle got a glove on it, directs it. That's trouble. Inciarte around first. Good job by Yelich to hustle up and get the ball. 2 hits for Inciarte, and the traffic continues for Nicolino.
Yeah, have to do some work out of the stretch again. You see right there, Riddle almost coming up with that. Probably wasn't going to get the speedy Inciarte at first base, but would have kept it in the infield. Unfortunately, redirects it, but Christian Yelich does a fantastic job. You see how fast he comes into your pitcher right there. Always, that's as an outfielder, you're considering all things. He's got to consider the speed of Inciarte, so he's on the prowl for that base hit right there that gets through. He's got to chase down quick.
Strike to Garcia, who has walked twice. Four walks, one of them intentional. Oh, and he hits him.
Well, he was having issues with Garcia, really kind of finding the plate, and then really forces one on the inside part. 2 walks and a hit by pitch of Garcia.
And there's nobody out here in the inning. The hamstring. And you've got the heart of the Braves order coming up. Freeman, Kemp, Markakis.
There's 9 straight games Marlins pitchers have hit a batter. Compare that with the walks, and there's extra traffic out there.
Well, now it's 2-0, and this is the first time that traffic's been out there with nobody out. Nicolino's always had an out to begin the inning that has helped him get out of trouble. Don Mattingly watching. On a day where the Marlins have just 3 hits and haven't scored a run, the Braves threatening here. Freeman, single in the first, 4 hits, 3 doubles in this 3-game series. That one lifted foul back.
Good spot by Nicolino right there, working down in the zone. See Freddie Freeman talking about his point of contact right there. You can see his little hand right there. He's talking about getting the barrel out in front. Nicolino's been able to beat him so far today with his fastball. He did pick up that blue pit his first time up, but struck out on the fastball his second time up. See this hanging breaking ball, top of the zone. Freddie Freeman had a bit of a hard time picking Nicolino up. He was a little bit late on that 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
That's a good battle here, Nicolino and Freeman. Astros tomorrow. Oh, he is so much fun to watch. Jose Altuve. And he's got a lot of friends who can really play. That's a deep, explosive, fun team.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjectives that describe them.
Lifted to left. Ozuna drifting. Foul territory, makes the catch, and that's an important out for Nicolino.
Well, even directionally, well done by Nicolino.
Geico brings you this MLB moment. I remember this as a kid. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was the Jackson All-Star home run. My bad. Generic Reggie Jackson footage is always good footage, though, right? Takes Roger Clemens deep for his 537th homer, and he passed Mantle for 6th on the Major League Baseball list.
Every one of Reggie Jackson's home runs, everyone went in the upper deck. It's like everyone I have ever seen in my life is like the farthest ball I've ever seen somebody hit. every one of them.
And the amazing thing, too, is when you meet Jackson, look, I grew up in that area watching that team win 3 world championships, and I thought Reggie Jackson was bigger than life.
Oh, yeah.
So, to my surprise, when I met him, he's not that tall. He's thick and strong, but he's not a
well, he's about 5'10", maybe 5'9".
Right.
Yeah.
He's not
very surprising.
Yeah.
I sat with him a couple spring trainings ago up at Yankees camp, and I was surprised at the very same thing you just mentioned. I was thinking 6'4", 6'5", you know, broad shoulders, and Reggie is he got the most out of that frame.
Well, and that frame was one of the more famous Sports Illustrated covers back in that run with Oakland, where there was Jackson. I think he was wearing the sleeveless top without the sleeves.
Right.
Almost a Ted Kluszewski-like guy. That's a, I know, reference from way, way back. It would be like Giancarlo on the cover of ESPN, the magazine's body issue. That was the impact that Jackson cover had in the 70s. Kemp battling here. Nicolino 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good try again by Nicolino to that outside corner. That's his 2-seam fastball, 89 miles an hour. A little tailing action. Trying to get Kemp to chase off the plate.
Got him. How about that? Nicolino gets Freeman and gets Kemp.
Here's the fastball again, just kind of cuts it a little bit. Doesn't cut as much as I think he was hoping it would, but again, if you remember earlier in the ballgame, did pick up a strikeout on a cutter out there. Kemp was guessing inside right there, but knew that pitch was easily too close to take. Not able to even foul it off.
Coors Light, cold hard fact. Second game this season, a left-handed starter the Braves have faced. Clayton Richard was beaten by Brian Snitker's Braves at SunTrust Park. And it was an R.A. Dickey start in that ball game as well.
JT Real try to sneak in behind Inciarte right there. See what Nicolino does right here. He's been able to get Markakis to chase his breaking ball outside of the strike zone.
Starts with a fastball in. Markakis again lines it into left center field. Yelich scoops it up, and the Braves have the first run here. Only the 6th hit for Markakis in this series. He is so steady, and he has been so painful as a Brave to the Miami Marlins.
Well, he's going to get a fastball, not the breaking ball right here, and he can handle it. And he's shown throughout the series the willingness to go the other way, and you see it right there, even against the lefty. Short, compact, leading with the knob of the bat. Helps you stay flat through the zone and elevate the other way. Watch that bottom hand pull through. See him elevate left center field right there. And the Braves pick up their first run of the ball game, and no surprise, Nick Markakis is the one that drives it in.
Now you've got Suzuki, who blasted one in the gap in right center back in the 4th. Suzuki has always been known as a very good defensive catcher. Oakland and Minnesota and the Washington Nationals. Bouncer towards shorts. Riddles flip in time, but the Braves get a run, and halfway through, it's 1-0.
I want to wish my mom, Teresa, and my wife, Ashley, a very happy Mother's Day. Thank you guys for everything you have done for me. Love you very much.
Happy Mother's Day to all. As we move on here to the bottom of the 5th inning, JT Riddle upcoming for the Marlins. I asked him today about preparing for knuckleball. Very hard to do. You just don't see it very often. He said he did see a guy named Jared Mortensen, pitched for Montgomery, Rays AA last season. Got a couple of hits off him. But not easy. Did face R.A. Dickey in spring training, lined out. He said it's kind of like wiffle ball, and I always liked wiffle ball, so we'll see if those results translate. Now, Mortensen, like Dickey, though, threw that hard knuckler. It's said that the faster in the zone knuckler is harder to hit. What Dickey has said, though, guys, is you can't be enamored with the speed at the expense of the control, and that's a bit of a game that knuckleballers play. Dickey, known for his harder knuckler, obviously had a great career so far. Mortensen, interestingly enough, was a cut fastball guy, and last year he picked up the knuckler. Now he's in AAA.
Well, look, the one thing about knuckleballers, Craig and Todd, is that the art of it has been passed on from generation to generation, from Necro to Huff to Candiotti to Wakefield to Dickey, and those guys keep in contact. There's contact between all of those guys in terms of, you know, issues, how they threw it, tips that they had. It's a brotherhood for sure. Riddle pounds that out in front of the plate. Suzuki pounces and throws to first. And a guy like Dickey, with the extraordinary life he's had off the field, has been more than happy to share that with others, pass it on. And the other thing is, too, there's probably 20 guys in each organization, some of them position players, minor leagues, even in the major league level, that swears they could throw the knuckleball and get outs.
Well,
and make a living.
We all mess
right?
around with a knuckleball.
Right?
I mean, there's no the stretch time was, we used to laugh. I mean, it was knuckleball time. We'd go down the line, get our arms loose, and everybody would typically bust out their best knuckleball, and that's usually where it would start. And everybody mess around, and if you had the luxury, the privilege of playing with one of these guys, and I did early in my career with Tom Candiotti, and I enjoyed playing catch with him and even trying to catch his knuckleball. And we were all trying to do exactly what he told us to do, yet he was the only one who could do it. And we all had, you know, every now and again we'd throw a good one, but not the drop, not taking the spin off, not doing it exactly the way these guys do it. It really is an art.
And very few of the great knuckleball pitchers were throwing the knuckleball at a young age. Oftentimes it was as a, hey, I need something to stay in the big leagues.
Oh, that's
get
it.
To the big leagues.
You're absolutely right. That's what most of them maintain. Is that, you know, it's a story of my fastball wasn't good enough.
That was not the title of his book, by the way. My fastball wasn't good enough. Nicolino sends it to left.
But that's what the game told him.
His autobiography was, wherever I wind up, my quest for truth, authenticity, and the perfect knuckleball.
Well, I think his is better than what I just said.
My fastball's not good enough.
Not good enough. Not good. You got to get big league hitters out. You see the pitches so far in the 5th inning. Here's the amazing thing. That fly ball out right there has been a rarity today. 4 2/3 innings. He's recorded 11 ground ball outs already in this ball game. So R.A. Dickey, we talked an awful lot about that drop. In fact, that is actually the first fly ball out in this ball game.
See, Dickey kind of tilts his head thinking he had that one.
Well, he knows where it crosses the plate. What we see on TV a lot is all the late movement past home plate. Remember, that's the pitch has to be called in the zone, which is out in front. And remember, as you're watching this knuckleball come in, it starts changing planes. It starts to drop. It starts to move to the left and to the right. It ends up in a different spot a lot of times than where it actually crosses the plate.
Which illustrates it. Look, it's tough to catch. We talked about Suzuki. It's tough to call if you're Marvin Hudson.
Well, you may call a pitch that's 6 inches in a different spot by the time it gets to your catcher's glove.
Umpires will tell you part of it is anticipation. You identify breaking ball, you're looking for it to sweep across the plate. It's so unpredictable, it rarely ends up where you think it's gonna. Kemp is there and he makes the catch. And R.A. Dickey cruises through the 5th. About the knuckleball that the Marlins have been trying to hit from R.A. Dickey.
Well, it's a fun discussion and certainly something that we don't get to see very often. Now, here's a comparison between the two pitches. So everybody at home, creep up on your TV. You got to look at this really closely. The top one is the knuckleball, and it's got very little turnover. In fact, you probably could count the seams. The fastball just below it, spinning like a more traditional pitch. But in all of this, not a lot of velocity. See the bottom one, how it's spinning? And this is even in slow motion. Look at that knuckleball, doing literally nothing but dropping into the strike zone.
You could go through a bazillion statistics on each pitcher in each major league game, and one of the ones they'll give you now is spin rate. I'd love to see what R.A. Dickey's spin rate is on his knuckleball.
I actually looked, and it was paltry. Well, it was on his knuckleball.
It's like 0.00.
It's way down there. Yeah, it's obviously. I think I was looking at multiple pitches, but I noticed, usually it's been, ooh.
To left, Yelich in pursuit. Runs it down on the warning track. Danny Santana is out number 1 here in the 6th. Tomorrow is Salute and Serve Monday. We invite those who serve to join us for a ball game. Active and retired U.S. military personnel, veterans, firemen, and police receive 2 complimentary tickets when showing their official service IDs at the Marlins Park ticket office. For more information, visit marlins.com/promotions.
Certainly not to be lost in all of this. Start from Justin Nicolino.
Swanson's starting to swing it a little better. He lined out back in the 2nd, and he lines one into right for a hit here.
Swanson, much better hitter than he has shown here in the first 6 weeks of the season. And the Braves have stayed with him, though. And the opportunity to find his stroke and kind of get his game back. It's rewarding them with some production, certainly in this series.
Little by little, and that's the type of ball that he spent a lot of time doing. Spraying that ball to right field and driving it in the gap in right center. So Dickey is up, and this sets up for the Braves. They can try to bunt Swanson to 2nd and set up an Inciarte at bat.
Justin Nicolino could throw R.A. Dickey a knuckleball, see if he could bunt it. Probably not. We all have a knuckleball.
And it's not easy to bunt either.
No, that's why I threw it out there.
Foul ball. Other teams in the National League East. It was a Bryce Harper walk-off last night for the Nationals. Here's a look at that bunt. It just rolled inside the line. Washington and the Phillies are back at it today. It's 1-0 Nationals in the top of the 4th. Mets and Brewers. Brewers buried the Mets last night. 1-1 in Milwaukee, bottom 2. Phillies and Nationals actually playing a doubleheader, so they've got a day-night doubleheader in D.C. Nicolino on to first. Sacrifice pushes Swanson into scoring position. Here's Inciarte, who was singled twice. It's 2 for 3.
Getting back to Nicolino. Saw Garcia getting loose in the bullpen. Nicolino had 78 pitches, done a very nice job today. Himself into a few jams, been able to make some pitches and get out of those jams. Just waiting for this Marlins offense to get rolling.
Bouncer, Dietrich to his left on his feet, fires to first in time. And Justin Nicolino, 6 innings, just a run on 6 hits.
is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
How awesome is that? That's Terry Swan, one of our cameramen. Terry, way to go. Nice work. Atta baby. There you go. Tally lights on. He's focused.
Can't get him off his game. There he is.
So what did you think about
Terry?
What did you think about? That's pretty
Well,
strong.
Terry did a fantastic job, but
That's a James Earl Jones type read as well.
Yeah.
There's Yelich.
one less opportunity for me to get on you, though. So I don't know. I don't like giving that away.
Yelich, Ozuna, and Bohr. And Yelich has been dialed in on R.A. Dickey. But not a lot of Marlins can say that. Marcell Ozuna and Yelich have had the best at bats. A walk and a single for Yelich, 2 singles for Ozuna. Dickey misses down low, and it's 3-0.
See it high, let it fly. See it low, let it go. This is all about the drop of the knuckleball, and it's where it kind of comes in. If you can, Christian's really done a nice job of this today. You see that ball right there? He's not even thinking about offering at it. As we talked about all game long, R.A. Dickey, it's about the drop of the pitch, and you see it. If he wants to start it out at the thigh and get it to drop in at the knees or below the knees, and in fact get tons of ground balls. That's his dream situation. This is R.A. Dickey at his best. If you can get him up where that knuckleball has to start at the letters a little bit more, and it works its way down into the zone, drops in about the waist, you can do some damage.
Ozuna, Swanson, turned by Santana is in time. Ozuna hit it on the button. Dansby Swanson made a terrific play, and 2 Marlins are erased here in the 6th.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of it. Well struck by Ozuna. This is the knuckleball up in the zone. He's looked to be aggressive. One hop smash from Swanson. Swanson in self-defense able to go to the backhand. Watch this. Look at that face. He's letting you know how hard that ball was hit. He's like, oh yeah, I got it. Flip to Santana and back on to first.
Most double plays started. Dansby Swanson at the top of the list. And so here's Bohr, who twice has bounced out.
That is the one thing I've heard about Swanson so far this season. We talked about those offensive struggles, and coming out of it, his defense has not really slipped, and that's, I think, one reason that they have been willing to live with the slow offense here even halfway through May, is that he's been so good defensively.
Bohr, look out, the bat goes into the seats. The ball ends up in Santana's glove in shallow center. That's an 8-pitch inning, and the Marlins are done in the blink of an eye in the 6th.
just want to say Happy Mother's Day out there to all the moms, my wife, my mom, and my mother-in-law. I know she's having a tough time right now. Just wanted to say I love you guys.
Very nice, David Phelps. 1-0, Braves on top. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. So the theme here, aside from Mother's Day, if you haven't caught on to that, has been knuckleballs. And the Marlins against R.A. Dickey have been in a real dogfight.
Well, R.A. Dickey has executed his knuckleball really well. You know, again, we talk about the aggressiveness of hitters. I mean, you feel like you're going to see a pitch you're going to take a pass at when it comes to a knuckleballer, because again, it doesn't have a whole lot of velocity. It's only 72, 73 miles an hour, so you have a lot of time to see it. For these Marlin hitters, as we talked about, a lot of action on the ground, so they have to really work at getting him up if they do even get a few more passes at him.
And the hard part about a knuckleballer in Dickey is, you know, pitch counts don't necessarily equate for a normal starter to a knuckleballer. Dickey's at 72 pitches. He could go the distance here if he keeps getting outs at this pace.
Well, I don't know if that's right. It's the issue, but you got to remember this is still a pretty close ball game. Clearly, this is what the Marlins want. They want to give themselves an opportunity. One of the things that was always difficult facing a knuckleballer was seeing 95 miles an hour out of a bullpen after seeing slow, slow, slow all game long. So the Atlanta Braves are kind of sitting on this. That key run that they picked up a little while ago obviously gives them the lead. They're in the driver's seat. Your point, good one. Dickey could probably go all day long with the knuckleball, but they may want to go to that velocity at some point.
Well, the Marlins have a change out on the mound. Kyle Bearclaw takes over for Justin Nicolino. 6 innings for Nicolino. Bearclaw working against Adonis Garcia. This is up with a slider. Bearclaw, who's, since he got to the big leagues, been so effective and so consistent. He has hit a bit of a rut his last 2 times out. And for Kyle, it's been the walk. Gave up the 4 runs against St. Louis. And then a couple of unearned runs early in this series against the Braves.
Well, what big league hitters do when they know you're struggling with your command is it's called keyholing. Basically, the strike zone shrinks, so they look for you to get a fastball in that spot, and they a lot of times get better. They turn themselves into better hitters.
'97 fastball in on the fist. Astros here tomorrow night, 3 with Houston. That is down the line. Ozuna trying to cut it off. Garcia around first, doesn't have much speed. And it's going to end up as a single. In support of Mental Health Month this May, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Their commitment to replacing stigma with hope and improving the lives of families and those affected by mental health conditions. Learn more about how to be stigma-free. Visit foxsportsupports.com. Freeman now. Freddie Freeman has singled in 3 trips. Atlanta has 7 hits. All but 1 a single, a Kurt Suzuki double in the 4th. Miami has just 3 hits. A couple Marcell Ozuna singles and a Christian Yelich single. Freeman finds that left side with the shift on. It was open there. Garcia's not stopping. Ozuna wheels and deals to third, and out at third base is Garcia. Certainly to be reviewed. Freeman with a heads-up play got himself to second, but the Braves video room will look at this.
You know, Marcell Ozuna does a nice spin move right there and gets off a fantastic throw. Derek Dietrich right there, you see it? I think he got him. Enough tag, a little leather on the upper arm right there before that hand gets there. Third base umpire had a great view of it. Watch this spin move right here, even sets it up. One step pivot, like a ballet dancer out there. Ross has nothing on him.
And there'll be no review from the Braves. Tag got there before the hand got there. That's really bang bang too. And Dan Bellino, the third base umpire, nailed the call.
Marcell Ozuna nailed the footwork. Beautifully done out there in left. Sets down Garcia at third.
Matt Kemp. Kemp at 0 for 2. It's one of the reasons that in moving Yelich to center and bringing Ozuna over to left is that arm that Ozuna has plays better in left than it does in center. The left fielder is in a position to throw guys out more often than somebody in center, and a right fielder is in position to throw guys out more than anybody in center.
Well, he gets a lot more action. I mean, if you just watch a normal baseball game, you see more right-handed hitters. You see generally a lot more action in left field. And Marcell Ozuna has been really good of late. There's a couple plays here or there. His footwork's been outstanding. He's put himself in good position to make throws. Right there was right on it. What I love about that play in particular is how Marcell Ozuna peeks just before he throws, sees that Garcia's going, and then sets his footwork up in order to get that great throw off.
One, two. Bear Claw on to first. Freeman gets to third.
Let's show you this one more time. This is what I'm talking about, what I see. Watch. Look right there. That's what we're talking about. As soon as he fields that ball, he's anticipating what he has to set up right there. He sees Garcia going. Nice spin move right there. Gets his feet underneath him and gets off a fantastic throw. Dietrich over there at third base and a bang bang play. This inning in check so far.
Intentional walk, Markakis. The Marlins have seen enough of him. So he's down at first, and it's going to be Kurt Suzuki whom Bear Claw goes after here. The second intentional walk issued by Miami pitching. Miami has issued on the season 15 intentional walks. Only one team in the National League has issued more. The New York Mets came in at 17. Ball and strike. Feels a lot like last night. Marlins got a well-pitched game, 6 innings from Edinson Volquez, 2 runs. But we're unable to solve Julio Teheran in the Braves bullpen. Today it's been R.A. Dickey and his knuckleballs that has shut the Marlins out in 6 innings on just 3 hits. And Dickey is at a very sustainable pitch pace here. He's at 72 pitches after 6 innings.
Right. part of figuring out how to get out of a losing stretch where your team's not playing particularly good baseball. And you start to, as players, look at every little key moment in the ball game and try to make sure that you win it. As I said, sometimes it's playing that perfect baseball, which almost never happens. But in this ball game, again, the pitching's been outstanding. Great defensive plays. I'm just waiting for that offense to get in gear.
Suzuki, Giancarlo with a catch. Well, you talk about Mother's Day and the Marlins in this ballpark. First year in the park. That was a Mother's Day grand slam. As the Marlins walked off against the Mets. He's coming up. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Career homers on Mother's Day, active players. Joey Votto is the leader in the clubhouse. Some great names on there. Bautista, Beltran, Party at Napoli's, Robinson Cano, and I am not a machine, but a homer on Mother's Day, Albert Pujols. Giancarlo Stanton and the Marlins are a frustrated bunch. If you watched last night's game, Stanton last night, after popping up midway through, was extremely emotional, upset.
This isn't a bad thing. You see it, you feel it, and you go through it. I'm certainly not condoning it. I know sometimes people, get bent out of shape when they see things that they don't like as far as bat flips or whatever the case may be. But this is just passion. This is somebody who cares an awful lot. To me, that matters. You see the frustration right there as Giancarlo Stanton and the rest of this Marlins group continues to try to find their way out of this thing.
As we said at the outset, if you're frustrated as a hitter, as a team, if you want to come out and be aggressive and grab this win, this is absolutely the wrong guy to be facing, and that is R.A. Dickey, a knuckleballer who feeds off of over-aggressive swings. If you're not patient at the plate, R.A. Dickey will chew you up, and the Marlins in this one have just 3 hits, have not scored a run. Stanton in the ball game has struck out and popped out. Now the strikeout was a contentious one. It was a knuckleball that looked by all accounts to be inside, and he comes up here in the 7th. Derek Dietrich and A.J. Ellis behind him, and as we noted, R.A. Dickey's got plenty of ammunition left. This is not like a guy who's been out there throwing mid-90s for 6 innings. This is the 7th inning. He's at 72 pitches. Stanton and Dickey.
the lack of spin right there, and you see that movement away.
That one dipped down low, and it's 1-1. Actually, it was a strike. It's a break for Stanton. Drills that ball into right center field. That is going to the wall, and Giancarlo's got extra bases to open up the 7th. Really nice adjustment by Stanton in that at bat.
Absolutely. Think back to the first swing, pulled off, almost like he was going for the downs, was going to try and just tie this thing up with one swing of the bat. Now, knuckleball out over the plate, stays through it. Look at the extension, look at the eyes. I told you earlier, the eyes don't lie. When you see them through the swing right there on a pitch away, righty on righty, you know what the mindset was. Giancarlo Stanton made an adjustment right there, stayed through this swing, picked up a big double to start this inning.
Now let's see if Miami can get him over, get him in. Derek Dietrich, who has bounced out and been hit by a pitch. A knuckleball came in and hit him on the foot. And there is such a tendency and an urge in a losing run like this for the Marlins over the last 2.5, 3 weeks. In a game like this, where it's just a one-run game, to do something big, to take control yourself.
Well, I thought Giancarlo's first swing was a good example of that. What exactly we're talking about is what Giancarlo Stanton showed the first knuckleball he saw in this last at bat against R.A. Dickey, where he pulled his head off, he came out of his shoes, he tried to hit the ball through the windows.
Dietrich takes way out. Of course, it's Kurt Suzuki right now trying to wrestle every errant knuckleball before he gets to the screen and lets Stanton get 90 more feet of real estate.
Well, I would imagine this is probably one of the harder parts for a catcher, and even for R.A. Dickey, a pitcher. Obviously, he's done this his entire career, but situational hitting, those obvious situations where hitters are looking for things.
Dietrich to right. Markakis, good arm there. Stanton won't test it. And an out here in the 7th now. A.J. Ellis, and you got J.T. Riddle on deck. Atlanta's bullpen is active for the first time. You see those socks that Dickey is wearing. If you're interested in contributing to the cause today, which is the Susan B. Komen Fund and Stand Up to Cancer, those are Stance socks, the official sock of Major League Baseball. The new era caps, the new era uniforms, those socks, and a lot of the Mother's Day stuff is online right now, and you can buy that at MLB.com/auction. That's bats and uniforms, or just go to MLB.com shop, and you can buy the Mother's Day gear, and the royalties of those from Major League Baseball will go to, in an equal amount, the Susan B. Komen Fund and Stand Up to Cancer. I know we spent a lot of time talking about pink this and pink that and the ribbon this and all that. Aren't these shoes cool? But there is a cause, and it's a really good one. So hop online if you're watching at home. Take a look at some of the stuff that you can get for a great cause. Dickey's not happy. He thought that pitch previous was a strike. Even knuckleballers get mad. Now that's a strike.
He's been able, as funny as this may sound, to make pitches behind in the count, even in hitter's count. Think back to Dietrich, able to get in on him with a good knuckleball. A lot of drop today. Very difficult pitch for these Marlin hitters to handle.
Ellis bounces it foul.
Strike 58 feet.
I don't know if that was Marvin Hudson who said that. But somebody around the plate said that was a strike for 58 feet.
I was interpreting it. I was like, wait. Did he say 38 feet? 58?
Oh, that's close, and it's a walk. And Ellis is aboard. And Dickey's angry right now.
Yeah.
That looks like a strike. I think the Marlins got a big break. Now, can Dickey compose himself and go after JT Riddle here?
That's the challenge right now. A couple strikes. All right, Dickey did not get in that at bat against Ellis.
In looking at that pitch on the MLB app, it has plenty of the plate and it's right at the top. I mean, it's right up against the line. So it's borderline and it can go either way. And that's a strike. One and two on the rookie shortstop. And Riddle fouls it off. Remember, we told you long ago that the best numbers against Dickey were Tyler Moore's. He's on deck. Whether he gets to face him or not, we don't know yet. Because the Braves have a couple of arms ready in the bullpen.
The Braves know those numbers. They're looking at them. And that's why they have double barrel action down in their bullpen. Ramirez and Freeman both getting loose.
Riddle sends it down the line. Kemp in fair territory makes the catch. So here's the question. If you're Brian Snitker, Moore's got really good numbers. Small sample size, 3 for 5 with a home run against Dickey. And here he is pinch hitting against him. 93 pitches in is Dickey.
Personally, I'd go out there and ask. In my mind, it would be having RA talk me into it, and that's really what it would come down to. I think strategically, I would much be more inclined to go with the velocity in the bullpen because of that history. But I probably could be persuaded.
Tyler Moore, left center field. That ball's deep, and it's gone! He hit it out! And Miami has a 3-1 lead.
How about it? They'll play those numbers. Why not? 3 for 5 with a home run against him in his career. Snuck him in there against R.A. Dickey. The Braves had both guys going in the bullpen. Their big moment. Tyler Moore. Welcome back, big guy.
Well, you had to think that when the lineup was posted, Moore knows that he's had success against Dickey. He wasn't in it. He probably thought to himself, I wonder if I'm going to get a shot. And he gets a shot here in the 7th. And it's a 3-run pinch hit home run.
Well, you see it right there. Just timed it up well. R.A. Dickey knows this ball is hit hard. Rocket into the left center field gap.
D. Gordon lines one left center. Long run. Inciarte is there, and he makes the catch. And the inning is over, and the Braves' lead is gone. Tyler Moore, 3-1 Miami. And then Tyler Moore comes off the bench.
Let's see it one more time. That's the one that didn't tumble, didn't fall enough. See how it ends up at his thigh? Started out above the waist. Tyler Moore got into it, got all of it. How the emotion here at Marlins Park has changed with one swing of the bat. Look at the fans rising. Look at the Marlins rising. Waiting for that elusive big hit. Finally getting it from none other than Tyler Moore.
Fourth career pinch hit home run, and the Marlins get a big boost from their bench. And now the attention turns to Miami's bullpen. David Phelps enters, and the Marlins will try to hold this lead here in the top of the 8th. Danny Santana, first hitter.
David Phelps in the middle of his best run this season. Not allowed a run in his last 8 ball games. Just 1 hit allowed.
That would be A.J. Ellis on the job. The 2017 Esurance Major League Baseball All-Star Game ballot is online, and it's ready for you. It's your chance to choose your favorite player. Marlins, Brave, other Major League stars. Send them to the All-Star Game, which is right here in Miami on Fox on July 11th. It's all presented by MasterCard, the Esurance MLB All-Star ballots. Marlins.com/vote gets you there. Dansby Swanson against David Phelps. The breaking ball misses out. Phelps with a fastball. Ball and a strike.
One thing that I've really been noticing about Phelpsy here in this great run that he's been on is kind of a combination of slow and go. See how slow and deliberate, and then he kind of accelerates through his mechanics right there. And one thing he was searching for a little bit earlier in the season.
96 on that fastball.
Got that great rhythm working right now. Confident, dialed in, throwing strikes. Take a look at that motion that I'm talking about. It's a little bit slow and go. I know we're showing it to you in slow motion, but you're going to watch how he kind of accelerates right there, and he really just gets out over that front side and kind of gets through it. A lot better than what you saw early in the season. I really think that might be one of the things he was searching for. Remember, there was a stretch in there when the numbers were starting to go against him and he was getting hit hard. He really slowed things down almost all the way through his mechanics. Right now he's in a really good spot. You see how slow and deliberate he is, and then accelerates through the release of the baseball.
Down goes Swanson. The slow and go from full speed.
There it is. There's that arm whip that you like to see from Phelpsy, and he has that usual swagger out there on the mound. Good fastball at the top of the zone. Foul tip by Swanson.
A.J. Ramos. There's Bonifacio. Emilio Bonifacio pitch hitting in R.A. Dickey's spot.
Nice
Phelps
cutter.
throwing with conviction, throwing with tempo, and throwing with a lot of effectiveness right now.
Look at that, 9 pitches, 8 total strikes, and this is all of his pitches working. This isn't just Phelpsy leaning back on his fastball trying to blow it by guys. This is factoring in the cutter, pitching to corners. Wow,
that's good stuff.
Good night.
Happy Mother's Day. David Phelps comes in with conviction and goes 1-2-3 through the Braves in the 8th. 3-1 Miami.
So throughout my career, even like early baseball when I was a little kid, you know, my mom was the one that would take me everywhere. My dad had my older brother, and my mom was the one that always ended up driving me to my games. Just things like her work ethic with her job, and you know, just all the sacrifices she made to help me get to where I am today is how she really impacted my career.
Good stuff from all the Marlin players that we interviewed and have featured here today on Mother's Day. David Phelps, that's the best he's looked all year. And a terrific boost for the Marlins, who have a 3-1 lead, a dramatic pinch hit 3-run homer by Tyler Moore against R.A. Dickey in the bottom of the 7th has given Miami a much needed lead at 3-1.
Well, and follow that up with the timing and conviction that we just talked about in Phelpsy coming into the ball game. We talk about shutdown innings all the time and what they do to a team. Finally get that big hit off the bat of Tyler Moore, and Phelps goes out and just says, Braves, not happening. There's going to be no base runners. I'm throwing nothing but strikes, and this is going to be a quick inning.
Sam Freeman is in now for Atlanta.
And I promise you, Phelpsy's happy about it, even though he looks like that. That's his happy face.
But there's 3 outs to go, and the way the Marlins have gone, those 3 outs haven't always been easy. And so I'm sure everybody in uniform is thinking this isn't done.
Phelpsy did his job.
Freeman misses away. A.J. Ramos. Yelich, a hard grounder to Swanson at shorts. And that's out number 1 here in the 8th. R.A. Dickey ended up going 7. Remember, this was a Justin Nicolino start. He went 6. Nicolino giving up just the 1 run. Kyle Bearclaw, a scoreless 7th. He's in line for the win if the Marlins can close it out in the 9th. And here is Ozuna, who was 2 for 3.
Couple of singles for Marcell Ozuna today. Good passes. R.A. Dickey.
The best ball he hit was the double play ball, actually, in the 6th inning.
One hop smash that Dansby Swanson had to defend himself from. Fortunately, did it very successfully and turned a double play.
Marcell Ozuna up in the 3 spot in this ball game. Don Mattingly moving Justin Bour behind him. And Stanton behind Bour.
There's a changeup from Freeman right there. The hard throwing lefty really staying away from Ozuna and his power. Sam Freeman's had a very nice run with the Braves so far. This is his 5th appearance. He's not allowed a run, earned run.
Three and 1 to Marcell Ozuna. And Ozuna walks, and up comes Bour. This reminder that RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-packed pickup and play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Bour 0 for 3. Now the at-bats against lefties for Bour have all of a sudden become very productive. Of course, the home run for Bour yesterday was against Eric O'Flaherty, the lefty. In the Cardinals series, he had some big hits. And one of those against a lefty.
I'm sure Justin Bour would tell you it's the consistency and the opportunity that's come along with it. The more success he's had is really a byproduct of seeing lefties and being given the opportunity to be in there against them.
It's an RBI single against Brett Cecil in the Cardinals series. Pops that one up, fouling out of play. And you go back to the Mets in New York, and Bour had a, at the time, large, important RBI double against one of the Mets lefties out of the pen.
Does so many things right in the box, even against the lefties. Doesn't chase the slider away all that much. Occasionally, just like anybody would. He's fooled by it, but again, it's show good plate discipline. You see 95 redirected right off the face mask. Kurt Suzuki.
Bour strikes out. There's some heat from Sam Freeman. 95 miles an hour. A.J. Ramos gets the top of the order. Inciarte, Garcia, and Freeman. Brian Snitker coming out. He doesn't want Stanton facing a lefty here. So he's going to the bullpen. Giancarlo coming up with 2 outs, 3-1 Miami in the 8th. Astros arrive. Joe Musgrove, Dan Straley. That's a pretty fun matchup. A lot of breaking ball, especially from Musgrove tomorrow night. Marlins and Astros, a 3-game series, Monday night, Tuesday night. We start those nights at 6:30. Stanton's up, Jason Mott's in, and he misses outside. Mott, Marlins saw a lot of him as a St. Louis Cardinal. And here he is with the Atlanta Braves.
He's pitched in 6 games. Pretty nice little run here. Coming over to the Atlanta Braves.
Stanton went, and it's a ball and a strike. Giancarlo now, certainly the big hit in the ball game was Tyler Moore and his pinch hit 3-run homer. But Stanton opened that inning, remember, after not a great swing, by punching a knuckleball to the wall in right center for a double. And he pops this one back behind first. Freeman is there, and he makes the catch. To the 9th inning, A.J. Ramos will try to save it for Miami. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. How sweet is that on Mother's Day? Sporting the pink. And Mother's Day comes down to this. A.J. Ramos and the Marlins haven't had a save in almost a month. April 22nd in San Diego. Ramos really hasn't run into a save opportunity in a long time. He's had plenty of work in and out, but not in this spot, not trying to shut down a game. Ender Inciarte, top of the order for the Atlanta Braves. Adonis Garcia and Freddie Freeman. Inciarte has a couple of hits. Of course, Freeman, if anybody reaches, you've got Kemp and then Markakis. Ramos misses down low. AJ, of course, from Lubbock, Texas. His mom, Cynthia, is here for the 2nd year in a row on Mother's Day. Terrific article in the Miami Herald by Ethan Bauer about AJ and his mom. And a great story of his high school. There she is. There's mom. In his high school summer league, he's pitching one day. He's not pitching well, and the coach pulls him out of the game and says, if you're not going to pitch right, we're taking you out of the game. In fact, better yet, go home.
You're not going to pitch right.
And so in the car ride AJ's mom has to take him home, and that's not an easy car ride to make, right? Coach just took him out of the game and told him to go home.
Right.
And his mom turns to him and says, "It's okay, baby. Sometimes I just can't stand your coach." And AJ looked at his mom and said, "Mom, that's your husband." And she said, "That's right, baby. That's why I can say that." It was AJ's dad. Right. It was the coach. 3-2 is out. And Inciarte is aboard. Wins have been so scarce, so hard to get. You would figure that with a 3-1 lead, it won't be easy. And Ramos with a walk to Inciarte. Garcia has walked twice, hit by a pitch, and has singled. Goes after this pitch, hits it to center, and hits it well. Back goes Yelich at the track, and he makes the catch. A long way to center field. And the nail biting continues from Cynthia.
Long first out nonetheless. Get back in that rhythm. Sometimes as a closer, that first outs can be the hardest one to get.
Well, getting Freddie Freeman is tough for any Marlin pitcher, at least it has been in recent history. Freeman's got 5 hits in this series, 2 in this ball game. He's 5 for 11.
Great first pitch right there. Freddie Freeman picked up a base hit on a single. His first at bat has shown some aggressiveness in this series, as you see, 5 for 11 early in the count. AJ, nice job staying down in the zone with that first pitch.
As anxious as fans are, or players are, when the closer's in and the pressure is up and you're trying to close a game, can you imagine what it would be like to be mom?
You're saying what I thought about a minute ago, and I chose not to say it because I think there's a lot of anxiety that comes along with it.
Just missed.
I really do. I can only imagine. Moms of major leaguers, they live with a lot of anxiety. Wives as well. They live through their sons and their spouses, and these situations, depending on their roles, can be very emotional.
1-2. Got him! 2 outs.
Freddie Freeman has shown that he will go down in the zone and chase. Look at the changeup down in the zone. The willingness to chase. Look at Freddie. See how that upper body's out over his front leg? That's because he was fooled by the lack of velocity. Great changeup by Ramos right there.
Matt Kemp now is all that stands between Miami and a Mother's Day win. AJ Ramos' mom watching. Rudder goes, and a strike. AJ Ellis on his way out to talk to Ramos.
Well, Matt Kent comes into this ball game with a 13-game hitting streak. Does not have a hit today. Did pick up a walk, which will extend his on-base streak to 18 games.
Tyler Moore, a pinch hit 3-run homer against a dominant R.A. Dickey, is the difference in this ball game. His mom, Cynthia, watching. 0-1. In the air, right field shallow. Stanton is on. Ball game. Happy Mother's Day. Finally a win for the Fish.
It wasn't so hard, was it?
Tell that to AJ's mom.
Tell that to everybody, all the Marlins. My goodness, what an effort.
Who admits that whenever she watches AJ pitch, especially on Mother's Day, it sends her to tears. But happy and proud ones no doubt. Tyler Moore made sure that this is a happy Mother's Day for the Fish, and he will join Craig Minervini on Marlins Live. It's 3-1, and it's a final. Fish win it.